On today's episode, I want to talk about a subject that has held great interest for me over the years. Are entrepreneurs born or created? Are there certain folks that no matter what will fail because this was determined at the moment of birth? Or can anyone become a successful entrepreneur? Today's topic on Entrepreneurs Online. Let's get started.
Expert University presents Entrepreneurs Online, a podcast for real talk about running a real business online. Here's your host, Todd Snively.
Okay. We're going to be talking today about a subject very near and dear to my heart, and that's what really makes an entrepreneur. Are they born or can they be created? And all modesty aside, from anyone's standpoint, I am and have been a successful entrepreneur for decades. Now, is that because I was born with special traits, or is it because I was able to develop special skills? Now, being a business founder is the dream of many people who yearn for independence and financial stability. And I talk to people all the time, and their big concern is, well, maybe I'm not cut out to be an entrepreneur. Now, why would they say that? Is it because something in them when they were born triggers that kind of thinking? Or do they just not understand the type of skills they need to learn to become a successful entrepreneur? It's a common question that continues to surface today. Are entrepreneurs born or created? And people want to know if they're born with an entrepreneurial gene, or perhaps they can polish their skills to become the entrepreneur they want to be. And this question, it's been on the minds of many who've researched the topic. We have contributions to this dilemma that have been made by psychologists, industry leaders, economic theorists, professors, and even some of the most successful entrepreneurs. The main argument, nature versus nurture. And it's a controversial question that comes down to genetics or the environment, such as conditioning and other external factors. Rumors have been going around of an entrepreneur gene, right? This is something that's going to predispose certain people to become successful in the role of a business owner, business leader, entrepreneur. So in this podcast, what I want to do is explore the theories that are circulating around this very popular topic. Will the conclusion be nature or nurture? Or perhaps a combination of both? All right, now a couple of useful tools are worth noting to see if entrepreneurs are born or created. Both look at the personality of people to determine the probability that they'll be successful for running a business, market success, revenue growth. One tool that has been used is the Founders Institute Aptitude test, and another is a personality questionnaire called the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or the MBTI. Now, let's talk about the Founders Institute's Aptitude test. It's an aptitude and personality test by the Founders Institute, and it relates to market success and revenue growth. Now, the data from this test focused on 3 central pillars in a person's DNA that might be responsible for prosperity as a business owner. Think about that just for a second. All right, so what are these 3 pillars? The first one is called moderate agreeableness. Now, a business owner has to orchestrate partners, employees, investors, and other key players that make it all possible. Although some flexibility is good, maintaining agreeableness at a moderate level is key in someone being able to stand their ground and not go along with everything that comes their way. Agreeableness has to be a midpoint balance. It cannot be extreme on one end or another. The second is high openness. Now, this characteristic allows business owners to see possibilities. It's essential in the business world to be open to ideas that lead to innovation, improvements, and novelty. Someone cannot be set in their ways or pessimistic. Being open at a high level is required to navigate through the dynamic stages of any project. And then finally, we have high fluid intelligence. People who have this trait are able to engage in abstract and critical thinking recognize patterns, and easily adapt to new situations. This allows them to take advantage of opportunities on the fly and makes them outstanding problem solvers. And a business owner will be successful by possessing these traits. They certainly don't hurt, right? They certainly don't hurt. However, does this mean that you have to be born with these traits? Were people like Richard Branson, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, and Steve Jobs born with these characteristics? Not in all cases, but certainly these qualities have to be part of any successful business owner's set of traits. Now, since 2013, the argument for genetics and entrepreneurship has disappeared, but this debate of nature versus nurture still remains highly debated. More and more researchers are concluding that it's a combination of both, what a person is born with and what is created throughout their life. And here's the reason why. It really comes down to this Myers-Briggs test. And in the world of entrepreneurial psychology, a study was published by Oxford Psychologist Press, which is the arm of CPP in the United Kingdom. It's home to one of the most famous personality tests in the world, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, the MBTI. Now, the purpose of this personality test is to help people understand the theory that Jung regarding psychological types and utilize the results to make it useful in people's lives. So when it comes to applying it to the entrepreneurial nature versus nurture argument, the results of the test suggest that business founders see themselves as being impulsive, open to taking risks, and creative. It also indicated that they have a strong will to be independent, big surprise, and often like to do things their way, right? Shocking. Now, this study highlights the results from a personality type perspective, showing that business owners were more inclined to be intuitive and perceptive. Now, this translates into business owners being more likely to be driven by future possibilities and the hunches they feel to help them make decisions. These types of people appreciate novelty and can easily go from one idea to another. They're inclined to see the big picture, and they make a habit of following their intuition on practically everything they do. Now, even though noted business moguls are not recognized for taking these types of personality tests, I don't believe I've ever taken one of these personality tests. These traits are frequently associated with two tech giants, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, who said that intuition is a hugely powerful trait. Get this, much more than intellect. And I can actually relate to that to a lot of the people that I've seen become successful, where I've actually questioned whether they would be able to become successful because of my perception of their lack of intellect. And every time they go on to prove me wrong, because intuition is hugely more powerful than intellect. According to this Myers-Briggs personality test, people who fall into the category of being the perceptive types are flexible, spontaneous, and open. These types of individuals are able to adapt and often go with the flow. They're not very concerned about rules, regulations, and restrictions. That can sometimes get you into trouble, but these traits allow them to be able to easily take risks and open up new possibilities because they're not tied to conventional or traditional thinking. The ability to take risks is a key characteristic associated with people who have made it big in the entrepreneurial world. So is entrepreneurial personality, is it a myth? Well, these personality tests and the entrepreneurial traits displayed by many people seem to provide a pretty logical explanation. So why is there such talk about entrepreneurial traits being a myth? Well, one of the reasons is the study done with that Myers-Briggs Type Indicator test. It doesn't go beyond the characteristics of intuition and perception. Another component that's not reported is the fact that any personality type has the ability to, and they have started businesses. So certainly some personality types are more likely to start a business than others, but it's obvious that there's many different types of businesses and various types of founders who start those businesses. The industry, it also plays a major role in what type of founder and business culture comes about. For instance, some organizations require a clear focus on details, an outlook that has practicality, and an approach that requires technical step-by-step procedures. Now, this would be the opposite of the sensing portion of the Myers-Briggs indicator test that highlights intuition. Other businesses require an approach that's highly structured and planned. They thrive on having fixed goals and strict controls. This is the judging portion of the personality test, which is called the perception portion. So is there really a personality for success? Well, to settle the myth, this test concluded that it appears that there are no personality differences that completely predict success, considering the measurement of, financial performance. The results showed that one personality type was not more fruitful than the other. Does that mean that personality traits have nothing to do with business performance? Well, while it's not the only determining factor, it is part of a way more in-depth formula. Some components that were omitted in the study were optimism, worldview perceptions, persistence, and having the habit of positive expectation. Take, for instance, Richard Branson and his drive to persist against all odds, not only shown in his entrepreneurial endeavors, but also his adventures across the world on hot air balloons and sailboats. Just about any great business mogul has dealt with several failures before they reached success. Some have had great success, then incredible failure, only to reach great success once again, such as in my case. Many had to overcome immense obstacles, such as the founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma. Now, he came from very humble beginnings. He applied for dozens of mediocre jobs, including one at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and he was rejected for every single one of them. Jack's now worth something like $34 billion, even though, once again, I think he's in a bit of hot water right now. We won't go down that rabbit hole, but $34 billion. Couldn't get a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken. So let's also remember the trait then of having emotional stability, which goes hand in hand with being a resilient person. And for those of you that have been following me, you know that if I have one gift over another, it's the gift of resilience. This resilience is a personality characteristic that the Myers-Briggs test doesn't measure. Certainly, to be a successful business owner, you need to be someone who can handle much adversity. An individual has to be sturdy enough to handle the ups and downs that naturally occur in business. This is why when I run across what I call a fragile snowflake, I let them know, dude, you have to get some thicker skin, some resilience, or you're never going to be successful running a business. So anyway, in conclusion, this ideal personality type, it's not the single factor that's going to make you the best. It cannot make up for a bad business idea, not enough capital, or bad timing for a product launch, for example. And surely, certain personality types do better in business, and some personality traits are there since birth. But having a successful entrepreneurial run in any industry requires a combination of elements that are picked up along the way. Plus, there's the external factors that also play a role in how successful a business will be. However, knowing your personality traits, will help you fine-tune your qualities so that you can become successful with your entrepreneurial dreams. There are definite qualities required to be successful, and you can practice and improve them. And again, it's this argument that's pro-nature. All right, let's look at that. Are prosperous business owners born? Yes, without a doubt. However, there's much more to it than just being born this way. There's definite aptitude and personality traits that are key. And the difference is being to effectively apply these traits in the right circumstances, at the right time, and in the right manner to be successful. And I'll give you an example. Pharrell Williams, he's a music artist. He's become a fashion designer and record producer. He is outstanding at what he does in this particular arena. Pharrell may not have had this much success had he developed computer technology, as Bill Gates did in his space, or as Warren Buffett did with his amazing financial strategies. Now, I feel that the reasoning behind Pharrell's total success is applying his entrepreneurial traits, nature, specifically in the music space where he shines the most. Now, similar can be said about Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. Conversely, they would probably not be so successful getting involved in what Pharrell Williams has done. In addition, there's a factor of passion in the entrepreneurial argument surrounding nature. That question is, why was Pharrell able to achieve so much when applying his natural traits? Because he has an absolute passion for music and has a network of people in the music industry that empowered him to grow in this arena. His passion became a driving force that made him the tenacious business leader he is today. It gave him the determination to get past countless obstacles and establish long-term victory in his industry. This is a perfect example of how business owners are born. And with their innate qualities applied correctly with the right timing and unparalleled determination, they can thrive. You can be born with gifts, but if you don't use them and act on opportunities that present themselves to you, those gifts remain dormant. Now, how about this argument about pro-nurture? Because the other side of the coin asks that question. Can successful business founders be created? The answer is yes. We can all be made into something, but it doesn't mean it comes naturally or easily as others who have the innate ability to perform certain feats. It also doesn't mean we'll be as good as those who have a natural tendency towards certain qualities that make a successful business owner. Now, I like to think of it as learning how to play the piano. There's no doubt that some children are born with a musical gift. Just get on YouTube and you'll see that. Now, if you're not born with the natural inclination towards music, you can still become a musician, but you're going to have to work extra hard at it. I picked up the guitar at age 40, and I feel like I'm still learning the same things almost 18 years later. So, even so, you may not achieve, the high accomplishments as someone who is a natural virtuoso, but nonetheless, there's still hope for those who rely on nurture to become successful business owners. We can achieve what we imagine as long as we're willing to steadily apply ourselves. Education and training exist for a reason. It's part of the reason why our society has nurtured greatness. And although a prominent business owner is born with certain traits, that are conducive to success, and they have to apply those traits in the right manner, timing, and space, they are not born with all the necessary traits to become completely successful all by themselves. No one-man show exists in the world of business. We are interdependent and pick up most of our skills from our environment. There's a constant evolutionary drive that calls us to learn new skills, find new mentors, and open ourselves up to new paradigms. All successful business owners have a network of people who serve to interchange ideas, teach each other strategies, and share industry information. Almost all of the bios of successful business moguls are filled with stories about the people who they got their inspiration from, those who mentored them, and the connections they made to get to where they are. I'm absolutely no different in that regard. And to this day, I still spend tens of thousands of dollars every single year for training, inner circles, and mentorship. Then there's this this concept of expansion. Once you create something great, it is the natural evolution of life that you'll continue to expand. Now, this does require a team of people who are dedicated to transforming your ideas into tangible progress. There is undoubtedly a component of nurture that is essential in the success of a business founder. You know, the experiences the person is exposed to and the people that surrounds them makes all the difference in their entrepreneurial development and growth. This is why I try to surround myself with the people that are going to implement my ideas. I'm more an idea guy. I can implement, but I'm greatly limiting myself if I don't surround myself with a team to take as many of my ideas as possible and implement them. If they're not able to do that, I need to find a new team. Now, my advice to anyone who wants to become a successful business owner is to proactively connect with mentors and create a solid network of experts who care about your expansion. Now, there's this powerful concept that says you're the sum of the 5 people that surround you. If you stay close to good company, those who are active in their success, people who have the same focus and drive as you do, you'll be much more likely to have and keep those traits. These people feed off of each other. They exchange knowledge. They bring solutions to one another, and they keep each other motivated. The exact opposite happens when you surround yourself with the wrong people. They literally can suck the life out of you. Now, this nurture component of entrepreneurial success has a deep impact on our everyday lives, and it's seen in many cases. Besides, what good is it to be born with huge musical talent for piano if you're never able to get close to one or never have the opportunity to practice? All right, let's call this part 1 of this discussion, and let's continue this discussion on this topic on the next episode of Entrepreneurs Online, where we pick up with the idea of bringing nature and nurture together. We'll talk soon.
Hey everyone, Helmer here. Todd and Chris wanted me to remind you that if you're getting anything out of these videos, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Expert University channel, and smash that bell icon so you never miss another episode. Oh, when you get to be my age, getting reminded of important things comes in nice and handy. Oh, peace out and see you later, alligator.